Good morning, everyone. Please stand and join me in our opening song, Holy, Holy Way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. All the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love will heal us all. Oh, let me walk each day a little wiser. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Oh, let me care for those around the world. Oh, let my steps reveal the path of peace. Reveal the path of peace. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me do it.
Welcome to Creative Living Fellowship. My name is Carrie Sherman. I'm a practitioner emeritus here, and I am serving as the Sunday service host today. So welcome again. Hello to our online viewers, whether you be on Facebook, YouTube, or the CLF website. We welcome you here into our hearts. Thank you for joining us, and please leave a comment so we know that you're here, and we will respond to you. And we're bringing you into this space with us virtually. I think we have some first-time visitors, or have you been here before? First time, well, welcome, welcome. We're glad you're here. We have a sign-up sheet outside if you'd like to leave your information, and we'll keep you connected and provide you with information as the week goes on. So we hope you come back time and time again and be with us. So welcome. And welcome to everyone here, the regular people that show up every Sunday. Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths that lead to the truth. Our deep intention here is to be a community of love, care, and connection. And we do that through opening hearts, expanding consciousness, and transforming lives. All of that is done through the principles and the practices of the science of mind and spirit. Science of Mind is a new thought, ancient wisdom teaching that provides us with the tools to live the best possible life every single day. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, if you change your thinking, you can change your life. So what are you thinking? What is in your consciousness? When you're aware of that, and if there's something in it that you're not in agreement with, you can change that by changing your thoughts. And thoughts are things, and then you change your experience. Our musical inspiration today is through the magic of technology, and that is Gary Lynn Floyd. So we welcome Gary back with us today virtually. Here's a little bit of what's going to happen from this space on. So I'd like to recognize and thank Reverend Mary Jane Hyde, who is also a practitioner emeritus here. She led the pre-service meditation. First timers come at 9:30 if you'd like, and we have a beautiful 20-minute meditation before our service begins. So that kind of gets you into that space as well. So thank you, Mary Jane. She's also holding the high watch, and what that means is she's sitting in a contemplative, meditative state. She's holding the perfect unfoldment of our time together here. So double duty today, Mary Jane. Thank you very much. I'm serving as practitioner of the day, so I will be offering the evocation. That will be followed by our congregational chant. It's called The World. Deborah Covington will lead us in that. The words will be available to you on the screen. It's sort of interactive, so just flow with that and be free with that. After the chant, there'll be a couple moments of silence. And then I will be back with the evocation, with the inspirational reading. Right now, let us pray. So just take a moment and settle into that space even deeper that we've created here this morning, that space of peace and power and poise, calling forth that truth that we spoke about, the truth that there is only one power, there is only one source, there is only one energy, there is only one beautiful essence, and that is the divine, universal truth, divine love. Call it what you will. It always has been. It is here in this space right now, flowing in through everyone present. And it will always be. It is infinite, omniscient, and omnipotent. And therefore, I am that energy in human form, expressing uniquely as Carrie, and expressing uniquely as everyone, joining us virtually or here present in this moment. And everything on this planet Earth and everything in this universe is divine. I know and accept that all is well, regardless of appearance, knowing that the divine is in every experience, every expression, every moment. And so I turn to that. I know, and that connection, that deep knowing brings me peace. We are not alone. We never walk alone. We are uplifted and upheld every single moment because the truth is present. The divine is present. Reaching out, supporting, nourishing, guiding. And as we allow ourselves to open up to that truth, to that way of thinking, to that way of being, to that way of expressing, we live in peace, we live in joy, and all that we desire. The keys to the kingdom are showered upon us. And so for this truth, for these teachings religious science principles and teachings. I'm so very grateful that they guide my life and they guide the lives of everyone that are open to receiving that truth. So for the blessing here today, for this unfoldment, for this time together, for this fellowship, for this divine service, I say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, God, for this morning. I release my word knowing that as I've spoken it, it is done, and so I let it be, and so it is. Amen.
The world is a place of great love for all. The world is a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world is a place of great peace. I am a place of great love for all. I am a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, I am a place of great peace. You are a place of great love for all. You are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, you are a place of great peace. We are a place of great love for all. We are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, we are a place of great peace. The world is a place of great peace.
Today's reading is from 365 Science of Mind. It's a year of daily wisdom from Dr. Ernest Holmes. It is entitled, I Partake of the Divine Bounty. Realizing that the spirit within me is God, the living Spirit Almighty, being fully conscious of this divine presence as the sustaining principle of my life, I open my thought to its influx. I open my consciousness to its outpouring. I let that mind be in me that was also in Jesus Christ. That is the mind of truth, the mind of God, carrying with it all the power of the infinite. I know and understand that good alone is real. I know that silently I am drawing into my experience today and every day an ever-increasing measure of truth and beauty, of goodness and harmony. Every day I do, say, and think, everything I do, say, and think is quickened into right action, into productive action, into increased action. My invisible good already exists. My faith, drawing upon this invisible good, causes that which it was unseen to become visible. All there is mine now. All there ever was or ever can be is mine now.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship, Phoenix, Arizona. Gary, Lynn, Floyd back with you this morning. I'm honored to be here. I can't wait till I can get back there and be with you in person. Till that time, this song is called I Wouldn't Be Surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if peace broke out all over. I wouldn't be surprised if I found a four-leaf clover. 'Cause miracles abound, they happen all around me every day. wouldn't be surprised if we put an end to hunger. I wouldn't be surprised if we just kept getting younger. 'Cause miracles abound, they happen all around me every day. And life keeps blessing me with so much good. I wouldn't change it even if I could. Blessing me in every way. And if it all turns out okay, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised if I found out every answer. I won't be surprised when we find a cure for cancer. 'Cause miracles abound, they happen all around me every day. And life keeps blessing me with so much good. I wouldn't change it even if I could, no. Blessing me in every way. If it all turns out okay, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And life keeps blessing me with so much good. I wouldn't change it even if I could. Blessing me in every way. If it all turns out okay, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Life keeps blessing me with so much good. I wouldn't change it even if I could. Blessing me in every way. If it all turns out okay, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to fathers-to-be. Welcome. It's good to see you all. I love that song, Gary Lynn Floyd. I wouldn't be surprised. Life keeps blessing me with so much good. I wouldn't change it even if I could. Isn't that awesome? And you know, there's so many things going through my head to say right now. The topic for today is divine expansion. The theme for the month is a season of opulence. And as I was sitting there looking at the video of Gary Lynn Floyd and just thinking and listening to the words to that song and thinking about all that's going on, I was thinking life keeps blessing us with so much good. You know that the musician who was supposed to be our musical inspiration today had physical challenge and could not be here. Fortunately, because of the pandemic over the last 3 years and we've had to be online, we developed a music library. And Gary Lynn Floyd was part of our music library. And so that's what expansion looks like. The fact that we had the music library right there. What expansion looks like is that when we were in our building before COVID, Nicole was the the director of the youth ministry. She didn't do videos. She wasn't a part of Sunday service, But once we went online, she had to learn to do video. She had to learn to create video. She had to learn to help to direct the Sunday service and stretch beyond her comfort zone. This is what divine expansion looks like. Expansion means increase. It means growth. It means more. And so we're just witnessing the more as we're here right now, just the more that's happening. And the more is how God shows up. The more is how that infinite intelligence shows up always. And so I wouldn't change it even if I could, because we get to experience and be aware of the little things. We get to experience and be aware of the little ways in which God shows up. We call it little. God doesn't call it big or little, because God doesn't know the difference in big and little. It's just God just being itself. And so today, God was being itself as technology, as Gary Lynn Floyd coming to us through video. And all of you sitting here got a chance to witness that expansion. All of you sitting here got a chance to witness the goodness of God and how good is always coming to us in so many ways. And so I just had to get that out because it was on top of my mind. And it gives us an opportunity to look at opulence in a different way, because opulence means abundance. It means more. It means increase. It means limitlessness. It means all that. And so when we look at the many ways in which opulence shows up in our lives, we look at the many ways in which opulence shows up in our experience, then we get to bear witness, which is what we are here for anyway, to bear witness to the opulence of God. We get to bear witness to the opulence of God in our everyday lives just by being aware, just by our awareness, just by our being present, just by our being available. Just by our being available. We have to be available to that expansion. We have to be available to that allness and that fullness and that goodness that is God, always. And so the more available we are, the more we get a chance to experience it. And one of the ways of being available is just paying attention to what's around us. As I was sitting here this morning, I was thinking about this walkway out here. I used to live in a building, a couple of buildings down from this hotel. And every morning, my walk before I injured my knee, every morning my walk was down right by this hotel, walking down there, all the way down to Cactus and then all the way back. I love that morning walk because there's so much abundance to see on that golf course. There's so much greenery. Looking at all the trees and all the birds and all the grass and everything, I was just totally aware of abundance, the abundance that is God, the opulence that is God, that is expressing all around us. These are things we could take for granted. These are things we could take for granted, but you know what? If we take a breath and just become fully present and fully aware and fully mindful of what's happening around us, of what we're seeing around us, then we have the opportunity to really experience the expansion, really experience the opulence, really experience the goodness, really experience the abundance, and really understand that abundance really is not just what flows in, but what flows over. And when we look at what's flowing over, and when we're paying attention, we get to see what's flowing over. For me this week, in picking out videos for Sunday service, we had so many videos. I was trying to decide, well, I wonder how many we're going to use. What are we going to use today? We had so many choices that it was like, wow. And that could have been a totally different mindset. It could have been oh, woe is me mindset. Oh, what are we going to do mindset? Oh, what, all that stuff that we get caught up in. But it's like, no, what a blessing. We have all this to choose from. We have an abundance of videos to choose. We have an abundance of people who have provided music for us over the last 3 years. So I'm just grateful. Can you tell that I'm kind of excited? All that was coming to me as I was sitting there thinking, just about expansion and divine expansion, because it's all from that only power, that only presence, that only life, that only mind, that only activity, that only that is God. It's all about, all of it, it's from that one source. And so we get a chance to experience it. We get a chance to experience it to the degree that we're open to it. Let's take a breath so that I can breathe. In thinking about Father's Day, and the father being the provider, uh, the mother being the nurturer. It's all a part of that divine parent, that androgynous that is first androgynous being that is first cause. And so today we're celebrating that father in the particular. We're celebrating fathers in particular rather than that all beingness, that all beingness that is the father principle. But looking at how the father provides in so many ways, I was really thinking this morning, thinking about this morning and this week about the children who were in the plane crash and who survived in the jungle for 40 days. They were in the plane crash in Colombia, I think it was, and they were in the jungle for 40 days. The oldest child was 13. The youngest child was 11 months old. And the mother was in the plane with them. They were on their way to see their father, who had moved to another place because of some threats against his life. But at any rate, the children and the mother were traveling by plane to join the father. The plane crashed in the jungle. The mother lived for 4 days and then she passed away. So the children were there alone to make it on their own for 40 days in the jungle. And as I said, the oldest was 13. There was a 4-year-old, and they didn't give the age of another one, but the baby was 11 months old. These were indigenous children that were used to the jungle, so they knew, the oldest child knew what plants, what things were poisonous, what things were safe to eat. And she, through the grace of God, helped to keep those children alive, kept them fed for 40 days. The baby, in the meantime, turned 1 year old. The 4-year-old turned 5 years old. And they survived by eating fruits, eating plants, whatever it was that was available for 40 days. It sounds like a miracle, but we know it's God. We know it's that father that provides always, that was providing for those children, that was keeping them safe, that was guiding that 13-year-old to the right plants, to the right whatever foods, whatever other foods they ate, whatever it was they needed, it was provided for them. It was provided for them. That's what divine expansion looks like. That's what divine expansion looks like. God was just there. The expanse that is God was just there, providing exactly what those children needed. And somehow they were moved. They weren't just in one place. They kept moving and dropping things along the way, so that when the rescuers came in and had been looking for them all that time, they were able to follow some of the signs along the way, some of the things that the children had dropped. Isn't that miraculous? Even though we know it's not a miracle, it's like it's God working. It's God being God. That's how God shows up. That's what divine expansion looks like, where there's just more and more and more and more and more available to us to the degree that we are open to it. For us as adults, that's what it means, the necessity for us to be in the mindset of a child, because children are trusting. They aren't trying to figure out how this is going to happen. They just, they're guided, they're directed, they're available, they're open. And so when we can be in that mindset of a child, be open, be trusting, be available, then miracles happen for all of us, always. We get to experience the divine expansion, always. We get to experience the opulence. Because imagine the opulence that's in a jungle. Imagine all things that are available to them in the jungle. To us, it's like, oh my gosh. But to them, it's just being there, partaking of the bounty, as the reading says, partaking of the bounty that is God. And so I just invite us to partake of the bounty that is around us always, that is always around us, that's available to us always, so that we get to experience that which is already ours. That which is already ours. And this is what I was talking about last week, supply and demand. The supply is there. All we have to do is demand it. All we have to do is make the demand. And it's ours. And we sometimes have to build that faith, build that trust, build that trust muscle, as I'd like to call it, by continue to exercise our spiritual muscle by our spiritual practice, our doing those things that make us more available, doing those things that bring us into that receiving mode, doing those things that bring us into that place of knowing that God is always right where we are, that supply, that provision is always right where we are. It never changes. God is just being God. And God is all there is. So the gift has already been made. And all we have to do is open up and receive it. And when all needs are being met, God is just being itself. It's being whatever it is we need. Whatever it is we need, whatever it is we are calling for, whatever it is we're asking for, whatever it is our need may be, God shows up as that thing. And so the thing for us to do is to be open and be available. Be open and be available. We don't have to figure out the how. We have to be concerned about the what. What is it that you want? What is it that you desire? What is it that you desire? Do not let your how determine your what. Don't let your how determine your what, because the how is none of your business. God knows the how. We need to know the what. And when we know the what, then we can make a demand on the universe. We can make that demand in prayer. We can make that demand by asking. We can make that demand by being in that place of openness and availability. And when we make that demand, then God knows how to bring it. We don't have to figure all that out. We don't have to figure all that out. And so I invite us to really, really take advantage of this teaching, of this principle that all needs are met always. And us just being available, being open, and being receptive to it. You know, one of the ways to tell when you are open to expansion or in a place of expansion is, how do you feel? Expansion feels open. Expansion feels peaceful. Expansion does not feel like, oh my God. That's not how expansion feels. It doesn't feel fist closed. It doesn't feel tense. It feels open. It feels available. It feels peaceful. It feels peace-filled. And so that's not something we can go from 0 to 100 on. It's something that we may have to go to 0 to 5, and then go 0 to 10, and then go just a little bit more. But we build those muscles by really practicing the principles that we know, practicing the trust muscles, trust principles, practicing the faith principles, practicing being in a place of expectancy, expecting the good to happen, expecting prayer to be answered, expecting needs to be met, expecting bills to be paid, expecting the perfect relationship, expecting whatever it is we want, whatever it is we desire, expecting that to happen. And then don't be surprised when it does, as Gary Lynn Floyd tells us. I wouldn't be surprised. Don't be surprised when it does, because that's the way it works. And you know what? This teaching is so simple. And I always say it's not easy. It isn't always easy for us to follow, because sometimes we have more difficulty changing, because it does require us to change. And we have more difficulty changing. So that's what I mean when I say it's not easy. It doesn't have to be hard, but sometimes we make it hard. I know I do. So I know that I have made it real hard, and I'm getting a little better about that, about not arguing. I learned, as I say all the time, I learned a long time ago, my arms are too short to box with God, but I boxed for a long time. And I now know that when I hear instructions, do this, I say, yes, God. Yes, God, rather than, well, why do I have to do it that way? Why can't I do it this way? I think I want to do it this. I think I want to go over here. I'm getting no, go this way. No, I think I'll go this way. I think I'd like to go around there and see first. That's a hard road to that's a hard road to walk, I'm telling you. So I invite you to really listen when I say this, to follow those instructions you get, follow the guidance you get, trust God, and just allow yourself to be guided and directed. Do those things that are necessary for you to be in alignment with that, with the all that is, so that you can experience the provision of the Father. The provision of the Father. Another thing that is on my mind this Father's Day, in addition to the story of the children in the jungle, is a story I've been following for the last, I don't know how long, year or so, of a father and son. The son was born with cerebral palsy, and this is a father and son triathlon team, and they have been participating in triathlon races for the last, I don't know how many years. The child wanted to be uh, a triathlete, and he has cerebral palsy. He could not walk. He has difficulty talking, but this was his dream. So the father decided to help him to achieve his dream. So the son is now 29 years old. Father's 49, I think. They participate in triathlons all over everywhere, all over the country. The father says that when they are swimming, he's pulling the son, because he's built all this. They have special built equipment. When they're swimming, they're swimming, he's pulling the son. When they're biking, he is hauling him. And when they are biking, he's hauling him. And when they're running, he's pushing him. And the father's doing all the running, he's pushing his son. And when he's swimming, the father's doing all the swimming, he's pulling him. And he's doing all these things. And watching them in this story, the father is they're biking, and the son is sitting in the back. The father is hauling him, as he says, and the son is singing, "I believe I can fly." And oh my gosh, it was so heartwarming to see how this father has dedicated his life to helping his son realize his dream of being a triathlete. And so they had participated in 5 triathlons and had not been able to complete them. This year, not too long ago, they completed their first triathlon. They completed all of them, and the people who were there to celebrate them, and the joy that son expressed, the joy that the father expressed, the joy that the mother expressed, just saying that she couldn't believe that she was married to a guy so great, that she had no idea that she would be married to this person who cared so much for the joy of his son, for the dreams of his son. The father says he has no interest in biking. He has no interest in swimming. He has no interest in running. But this is his son's dream. He said, "I could live without it." But this was his dream. So I want to provide the legs and the power for him to realize his dream. I'm providing the legs and the power for him to realize his dream. Is that awesome? I'm providing the legs and the power for him to realize his dream. They completed the triathlon not too long ago, and their dream now is to go to Ironman. Oh, they completed Ironman. I'm sorry. They completed Ironman. They failed it 5 times. They didn't complete it 5 times. They completed one. Now they want to go to Ironman in Hawaii. And I think they have to have an invitation to go. So while this interviewer was talking to them, he had surprises them by, he knew that there was going to be an invitation for them to come to Hawaii for the Ironman race. And football quarterback that I don't know the name of came in to announce that they had an invitation to the Ironman race. Imagine what that's like. The family was over the moon. And they talked about, the reporter said something about them having failed for 5 times. And the son said, you win or you learn. You win or you learn. You win or you learn. How awesome is that? We win or we learn. And All of that's because of that divine expansion. When we are expanded, when we are open, when we are receptive, then we've created a space for that allness and that fullness that is God to express in and through us as our very lives, as each one of us. We create that space by just being in alignment with it, by being open to it, by being in that place of believing that it can happen, being in that place of knowing that God is all powerful, all knowing, all seeing, that God is capable of everything. And when we align ourselves with that presence, when we align ourselves with that being, when we align ourselves with that energy and that knowing, look out, look out, look out, look out. That's all I have to say. Look out. And so I'm inviting us to really move into that place of divine expansion and recognizing that the divine expansion can only happen within us because it's already, God already is. But in order for it to express through us, we have to be open. So I'm inviting us to start that now. Look, the story about the father and son was called Push Through Limits. What limits do you need to push through? What limits do you need to push through? How would your life change if there was something that you're holding on to, something that you're putting the brakes on about? You take the brakes off, what would happen? Look at your life this week and just answer the question, what limits do I need to push through? What limits do I need to push through? Where do I need to let up off the brakes and just go full speed ahead? Trusting. What do I need to do there? And so I invite you to really look at that this week. Take off the brakes. Take off the brakes. Go into break-free living. That's BRAKE. But go into break-free living and see what that's like. See what that's like. And it may feel a little scary at times. Just take a deep breath and do it anyway. Do it afraid. What would happen if you do it afraid? I can't tell you the number of things I do afraid. So I'm inviting you to do it afraid, to really, really look at that. And as you move forward, just being in that place of going with the flow, being in that place of being willing to move through your life with ease and with flow and with grace and with peace and with harmony. And if there's somebody in your life that is getting on your last nerve, and interfering with your harmony, take the high road. Now, the high road can be a lonely road because sometimes you feel like you're on that high road by yourself, and oftentimes you are. That doesn't matter. Just take the high road rather than getting down and dirty with people who are getting on your last nerve. Take the high road. Take a deep breath and take the high road. That's what expansion is all about. It's not about down here fighting. It's not about down here arguing. It's not down here competing. It's not down here railing against someone and moving into that them and us consciousness, that consciousness of separation. We move to the high road. And when we move to the high road, that's where the unity is. That's where the oneness is. And all that fray, we've moved out of, and we've moved to the high road. We've moved to the high road, and sometimes it's just like a plane that has to move out of the from the turbulence, move from one level to the next, and it goes through a lot of turbulence before it can get to that place where there's smooth flying. That's the way it is for us sometimes trying to get to the high road, because we have to go through that back and forth, and you know what? We can make it to the high road. That's what divine expansion is all about, because divine expansion, as I said, happens through each one of us. And so I'm going to end here because I keep hearing much more going on up here. And it's like we're going to save this for another day. But I just want to really encourage you on this Father's Day, recognizing that the provision has already been made by the Father, the provider. The provision has already been made, and we can partake of it. We can partake of this bounty. whenever we're ready. And I'm saying, get ready, be ready now. Now, that's now. Now is the time for us to be ready. There is no other time. Now is the time for us to do something different, for us to take a different way, for us to take a different walk, and for heaven's sakes, take it on the high road. Take it on the high road. Take it on the high road. Because up there it's a win-win situation. We don't have to worry about anything but the win-win, because that's where the all-pervading presence of Spirit is. So let's take a breath and just turn within in this moment. Just turning within to that place where just know and sense and feel the presence of God. Just knowing that that presence is the only presence, the only life, the only mind, the only breath, the only activity is God. The only activity is God. And this onlyness that is God is my very life. It is my very life. It is the life of each of us here this day. It is the source of our being. It guides us, directs us, lifts us up, comforts us, protects us, keeps us safe, loves us. It is us. This onlyness that is God. And so from this place of truth that I know, I speak the word for each of us this day, for all of us this day. Just speaking a word of power, speaking a word of provision, speaking a word of supply, speaking a word of acceptance, speaking a word of love, speaking a word of peace, speaking a word of harmony, speaking a word of balance, speaking a word of well-beingness, speaking a word of health and wholeness and joy, knowing that within wholeness is contained everything. But speaking the word for each of us this day, accepting for each of us this day. All needs being met. Whatever we may name those needs, they're all met by that power and that presence that is right where we are always, that from which we can never be separate. All needs are met. All needs are met. And so I'm just going to pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or loud, and you may speak their names now. So for all those whose names are spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each one is, blessing and keeping them. God is in the midst of every situation, every circumstance, every event. God is everywhere present. Healing is everywhere present. Wholeness is everywhere present. Peace is everywhere present. Joy is everywhere present. Harmony is everywhere present. And so I simply say, thank you, Father, Mother God. Thank you, Divine Mother. Thank you, Holy Father. I know indeed that all is well, for I know indeed that all is God. And so I simply allow it to be. And so it is.
Thanks for having me this morning. I'll see you next time. Until then, make this your prayer. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. And where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I'll shine. Yeah. I am an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I'll shine. I am an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument of peace.
Love you all. Thank you.
This is our conscious giving time, the time when we participate in the divine law of giving and receiving, the giving of our tithes and our treasures. We invite you to join us in the sacred practice here at CLF. As you tithe to this spiritual community, we tithe to local nonprofits around the state that are serving our communities and making a real difference in the lives of Arizonans. Our second quarter tithe recipient is Tiger Mountain Foundation. We send them blessings for all the work they're doing. You can click to donate for those of you online. There's a button on our website or on our Facebook page. You can use your cell phone to text to give. That number is 844-941-4360. For those of you in person here today, our ushers will be by to accept your tithes and love. And Deb Covington will be leading us in our offering song, which is I Trust in God. The lyrics are on the screen.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God.
So I invite our usher up, and we'll offer our offering blessing. Those words are also on the screen. Please join me in saying, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. And so it is. Thank you, Fran, for being our usher today. And here's Deb Covington with the announcements.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay, so I want to tell you what we have to offer you to support the work that you're doing, the spiritual work that you're doing. I want to remind you that we offer midday meditations Monday through Friday at noon on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We also offer a pre-service meditation on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. and you're welcome to join us. We mustn't forget that Monday practice with Reverend Jorge at 6:30 is every week, Monday, and again through Facebook and YouTube. You get your spiritual practice assignment for the week that's inspired by Sunday's service. Our community care and connection with Reverend Sherry is every Tuesday evening at 6:30 on Zoom. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. This is where we check in, let us know how you're applying the Science of Mind principles in your life, and even ask for guidance on how to do so. I join this every week, and I just want to put in a personal note that I have been able to connect with congregants in a way that I've never been able to on Sunday. We get into really intimate, deep spiritual conversations. And so I join you all. I invite you all to join us on Tuesday night at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7:45. The Ernest Holmes book study is underway, and they are reading Your Aladdin's Lamp. This is true stories about life's hidden power. And this is written by William H.D. Hornaday, who was a close friend of Ernest Holmes. Grab your copy on Amazon and enjoy these warm personal stories of people who knew of this power and used it consciously. Then you can drop in on Zoom any Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. So I encourage you also to join this. These are opportunities to really strengthen your belief, your trust, and your faith. After service, we have practitioners available to pray with you. Let one of our practitioners help you with seeing and knowing the truth of God in you and in your life. There is an area over here where on the corner here in the alcove where Reverend Mary Jane Hyde is sitting, and that's where we can have the practitioner's prayer. But you can also find practitioner prayer anywhere here with one of our 3 practitioners, which besides Reverend Mary Jane is Fran Peck, also our animal chaplain, and also, I'm sorry. Raise your hand, friend. and Carrie Sherman, also a practitioner emeritus with us. So don't walk around with a heavy heart. If you have something today that you want to get support on spiritually, let them be there for you, because that's what they love doing. Also, after service, we will have fellowship. Before I move forward, though, we have a prayer box out on the table right outside the front doors. You can put your prayer in there. It will be given to the practitioner corps, and they will pray over it for 30 days. Also, if you don't want to leave one there, or if you're online, you can use our email, which is prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Please just put in the subject title, prayer request. Same thing, it will be given to the court practitioner corps, and they will pray over it for 30 days. So we have opportunities here for you to get prayer support. Please, let's take that advantage of that, because we have a life here. We have a community here. And sometimes the appearances aren't always easy to hold on to that truth for ourselves. And that's why we're here as a community, to support each other in that. So let our practitioners be there for you. Also, after service, you can join Reverend Sherry in fellowship today at Tatum's Lounge, which is just across the way from here. And you can spend that time loving on each other. It's a really fun time, lots of laugh, joy, and lots of love. So I encourage all of you to take the time before you go off to the rest of your day to spend time with the community. And we provide appetizers. That's correct. Thank you for reminding me. And finally, the office will be closed tomorrow in recognition of Juneteenth. Excuse me. We'll be back to our normal office hours on Tuesday. So I want to thank you all for being here today. And now I will turn this over to Reverend Sherry.
Thank you, Deb. Let's take a breath together. It's so good to see all of you this morning and to share this time with you. Just a couple of reminders. Always, I'm reminding you to use the treatment for supply, page 262 of the Science of Mind textbook. It's a treatment that's totally comprehensive, and it really, really works. Use it at least once a day. Try it twice a day, and it really blows your socks off. So, 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 so anyway, use the treatment for supply. If you don't have it, a Science of Mind textbook, there are copies in the lobby on the guest table. You can pick up a copy from there. And I forgot what my announcements are. Oh, connecting with each other. Just making sure that you text each other, call each other, visit together, however you're getting together now at this point. And just saying, I love you, I miss you. I'd love to see you and spend some time with you. I think of you. It really means a lot when we do that and stay connected. So I invite you to do that. And I think that's all that I have. So why don't we stand now and do our closing affirmation. And I'll ask you to repeat the affirmation after me. And then Deb Covington will bring us our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. So let's take a breath. I am experiencing divine expansion. I am open. I'm available. I'm receptive. And as a result, something wonderful is happening in my life right now. That was great. I know it. I sense it. I feel it. I accept it. And I thank God for it. Thank you, God. And so it is.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Take good care.